Hello everybody, I have got a Chapter 9 equipment upgrade guide for you. I'm just going to start out here and just say, so I'm basically at the very end of Chapter 9. You can actually do a lot of this stuff early on. There's only a couple of pieces here that I'm going to upgrade that are that you'll actually get later on in Chapter 9, or at the very end, I should say. So right now we're in the crew quarters again. That's, I think, where I'm going to upgrade the most of this stuff at. Again, there's like one or two pieces that's a little bit later. But anyways, all right, so the most important, I would argue, items that you can get right now are these Guardian Amulets. And you can upgrade them using this Perovskite item. Now, we actually have one. Basically, the Guardian Talisman upgrades into the Shield Talisman. We've already got one Shield Talisman, but I really think that getting 3 for each of your current party members is the way to go. I actually think that we've either got 1 or 2 more Guardian Amulets. So you may not even need to buy any of those now that I think about it. Yeah, I think we've actually got 2 of them. But anyways, so all you do there is just level it up. The great thing about a lot of the accessories, specifically the ones with like the auto abilities, they only need to be upgraded once or 1 level, and then you can fully upgrade them to the next item. So that, again, I would say that's the one item I think that makes the most difference right now. Just because by doing that and having auto protect on your characters, you don't have to swap to healing paradigms as much. But anyways, alright, so the next item that we're going to upgrade here is the Shaman's Mark. Basically, I always add 36 sturdy bones first to get that experience bonus. And then I just finish it off with basically crankshafts. So those are the items that give you the most experience for your money at this point. And then here I'm just finishing it off with what was that 1 extra sturdy bone there at the end. So again, with upgrading though, with most of these items anyways, what you want to do is start off with your like sturdy bones. Those are the organic materials. And again, I usually use 36 of those just because that'll get you to the ×3 EXP bonus. And then you finish it off with the crankshafts or the non-organic materials. And again, we're just going to keep repeating that. So, and then actually once you've got an item all maxed out, you'll notice there's a star next to its name. That indicates that it needs, or it's either done, or you need a specific item in order to upgrade that. So again, that was the Uranite, I believe there for the Shaman's Mark, and we're upgrading that to Sorcerer's Mark. And again, I've restarted the process there of adding the 36 sturdy bones. Yeah, Uranite. There we go. So basically, we're going to do the same thing with I think it's the Brawler's Wristband. So that's like the second tier of the strength, of the strength items. So obviously it starts out there at level 1 with strength plus 50. I think it ends up with strength, is it 1? It's either 120 or no, actually I think it's even higher. We'll see here once it's fully completed. But same deal, add the 36 sturdy bones, and then it looks like we're going to do, what, 32 crankshafts? We'll see here. Usually what I do here is I get it as close to the maximum level as I can, and then if I think that I can just use a couple of other items to finish it off, that's what I'll do. Yeah, so I used 32 there. So that gets us to level 10, and then what are we short? Yeah, we're short 10 EXP, so it wouldn't have been worth it to add another crankshaft to that. That would have been a complete waste. But here we use the Uranite. Yeah, that's a funny word. To upgrade from the Brawler's Wristband to the Warrior's Wristband. Again, this is basically the same exact thing as earlier there with the Shaman Mark, upgrading to the Sorcerer's Mark. And then the great thing is the Warrior's Wristband actually will start at level 8 then, just because it kind of keeps track of how much experience you've put into these items. So here what we need to do, actually, I ran out of organic materials, so we just go back to Creature Comforts and buy enough. I usually always just buy up to 99 of those. The great thing about the organic materials is they're extremely cheap. And you're not going to use as many as the inorganics. So here, saving my game, always a great idea when you're doing these upgrades. A lot of this stuff for me was kind of trial and error, trying to figure out, how many crankshafts to add, or to be the most efficient. But here we're going to restart this process again. We are already at level 8 on the Warrior's Wristband. Again, adding the 36 sturdy bones, excuse me. And that gives us our experience bonus. Again, very, very, very important to get that experience bonus. If it wasn't already obvious, basically, again, it triples the amount of experience that you'll get for your next upgrade. It's an interesting way of kind of upgrading, I guess. In that, again, I think that the majority of the time you're going to have to use this strategy here where, you basically add enough organic materials to create these bonuses, and then you finish it off with the inorganics. Unfortunately, we're going to do a lot of upgrading of weapons here in a little bit, and the kind of crummy part about that is right now our inorganic materials basically won't give us enough experience every time to kind of finish off or max out an item, which means that we have to use more sturdy bones. But anyways, finishing off the Warrior's Wristband here, it looks like we need 22 crankshafts, and that gets us to about 100 experience short. So I'll just add, really kind of anything here. Generally what I do is I try to add things that I've got a lot of, or just extras, something that I'm not going to use in bulk. Hello! But, alright, so that's the Warrior's Wristband. Now, so because of where I farmed specifically, I actually ended up leveling 2 of the Warrior's Wristbands and only 1 of the, I guess it's Sorcerer's Marks. Again, just because of the specific characters I was using. Well, I guess I was stuck using Lightning Hope and Fang. But again, just because of my specific setup, I did 2 of those. Anyways, alright, so this is much later on. This was one of the items that I had mentioned earlier that I would upgrade after I had moved on a bit. Now, this is almost the very end of Chapter 9. And typically I don't actually go this far when I'm farming, but this is the Whistlewind Scarf, and I'm just upgrading that to the Aurora Scarf. Now, Whistlewind Scarf, it's got a great synthesized ability with Lightning's Axis Blade. I believe she's the only one that can take advantage of this synthesis right now, and that's the ATB rate plus 10%. So again, now you can actually keep the Whistlewind Scarf as it is. You don't necessarily need to upgrade it if you want to get that bonus, but there's no real reason not to. The Aurora Scarf is just a straight upgrade from the Whistlewind Scarf. Whistlewind only charges 1 ATB segment if you don't get a preemptive strike, whereas the Aurora Scarf will charge all of your ATB gauge right as the battle starts. Again, and that's even if you don't get a preemptive strike. Obviously, preemptive strikes always recharge your ATB rates, or ATB gauges to the fullest point. But anyways, alright, so we're back here. This is, again, a bit earlier. Again, that's why I was mentioning earlier that the majority of the upgrades that I do in this video were done in the crew quarters. That Whistlewind Scarf is really the only thing that can be upgraded in Chapter 5 past the crew quarters that I think is noteworthy at all. But all right, anyway, so this next item that I'm going to start on is the Gladius. Now, the Gladius is Lightning's strength-based weapon, and I think it's actually fabulous for this point in the game. The reason being, when I'm in the crew quarters, I actually like to use the aggression paradigm, which is Lightning in her commando, Fang in commando, and Hope in the Ravager. I actually think that it's substantially better than the Relentless Assault paradigm. So Again, that's why I think the Gladius is amazing, and the real big reason for that is because of the Blitz ability that she gets as her as the commando. Sorry. So, anyways, all right. The plan here is to, as always, you want to upgrade first with the Sturdy Bones. Again, 36 of them to get that EXP bonus, and then I forget. Like I gotta check again how many crankshafts I used. So that was 60 crankshafts there, and then we're gonna finish this off. It looks like we need 44 experience to go, so I'm just gonna use 2 Sturdy Bones. Oh, looks like 3. Yeah, 3. Again, reason I do that is, once you get so close, there's a certain point where it's really not worth using another crankshaft. But anyways, all right. So upgrading from the Gladius to the Helter Skelter takes the Uraninite, and all right. So it looks like I need to go back to Creature Comforts here and buy some more. Actually, Lenora's garage too. I'm sure we'll pick up some. Yeah, Sturdy Bones, as well as get a whole new stack of crankshafts going. Again, now, we're at that point now with these weapons where, unfortunately, even with the ×3 bonus, 99 crankshafts isn't going to do it. That's not going to get us to max level. Basically, going from the first, like, your base weapon up until the next, like, upgrade, you can generally do that with less than 99 crankshafts, and that's kind of a blanket statement for most of the weapons. I don't know that that's necessarily always true, but most of the weapons that we're using right now, that will be the case. But all right, anyways, it looks like now the Helter Skelter starts out at level 19. Actually, I mean, maybe it started at 18, and I don't know how much that EXP bonus added. Probably not. Probably not enough to level it. So again, I'm going to assume it's going to now start at, I think that's 19. It's kind of hard to see. It's 19 or 18. But anyways, all right. So we are going to start out. We've got a brand new stack of 99 crankshafts. Yeah, that was 19. So now it hits 31. Again, we'll reapply our Sturdy Bones here. Now, again, it's kind of crummy how often you need to do this, and I mean, I'll be completely honest, this takes a lot of money. So if you want to do this, definitely, I mean, you either really got to have a lot of drive to do it at this point in the game, or have a lot of extra time on your hands. So anyways, all right, going back to it, we're at 31. Obviously added the EXP bonus there with the Sturdy Bones. Did another stack of crankshafts there. We hit level 40, and then now again reapplying the Sturdy Bones for the ×3 experience bonus. And I've tried to cut out a little bit of my purchasing here of the crankshafts because it's not all that interesting. But anyways, all right. So 40 to 47, it looks like. A couple more of these. I don't know, leveling processi, and we'll get there. I think the Helter Skelter caps out at level 61, so a couple more of these rounds of Sturdy Bones and Crankshaft should get us there. All right, 47 to 54. Ugh, ran out of materials. Story of my life. So anyways, I would say, again, now the Gladius, I would say is really great, specifically for this farming spot. I'll be honest, though, I don't think I'll use it much beyond this point. I typically like to use the Axis Blade on Lightning because of that ATB bonus, like that the ATB rate increase. So again, I think beyond this point, I really won't be using the Gladius / I guess Helter Skelter. So it looks like we are at, is this level 60? Wait, we're like, I think we're almost there. Again, I think this caps out at level 61, so we'll see. This should be the last set of upgrades, unless I'm completely wrong and this thing caps out at like a higher level than I remembered. No, this has got to be it. Alright, so anyways, again, I feel like I'm a broken record here though. Apply those sturdy bones, get your experience bonus, and then it looks like I'm going to finish this off with 17? 16. 17. 16, 17. 17, okay. Okay, yeah, I just, I thought apparently that was good enough to call it a day. Now, if you notice there, that thing's got a ton of strength. It was like 400 something strength and a lower amount of magic. I actually think again that this spot, the crew quarters specifically, is amazing for that weapon. The next weapon that I'm gonna upgrade here is the bladed lance. This is Fang's. I think it's her kind of like balanced weapon. And oh, this is gonna look weird. I've got some like a gigantic amount of inventory here and a bunch of items that you cannot get in Chapter 10. Reason being, I had already upgraded my bladed lance and didn't take my footage of it, so I wanted to actually show you guys basically what items to use in order to upgrade this thing. So again, start out with your sturdy bones. It's kind of interesting. The bladed lance, even with just those sturdy bones, makes it all the way to level 3. So that and that gets us obviously our 3 times experience bonus. And it looks like we're going to go with 20... Oh, 24, 25. We'll see here. 24. Okay. 24 crankshafts, and that maxes the bladed lance out. Okay. So, all right, back to appropriate footage here, and we'll continue on with leveling up that bladed lance. Okay, let's see here. Looks like we need... Oh, was that? That looks like I already had a perovskite for leveling up. I think that's the item that we need to level this bladed lance. So let's just have a look here. There we are. Yep, perovskite. Alright, so that gets us to the glaive. And then that glaive starts at level 10. Again, because of the... Looks like the experience just kind of spills over from the previous weapon, which is kind of interesting. But anyways, alright, so we need to buy some more sturdy bones. I guess I could point this out now. Maybe it's already obvious, but there's a couple of items actually that get you the same like experience bonus. I always just buy the sturdy bones. So if you're wondering why I specifically focus on that item, that is why. It's because it's, number one, it's buyable right now, and gets you the most kind of bang for your buck. But alright, anyways, let's reapply our sturdy bones here, get us our EXP bonus. Looks like our glaive hit level 11 because of that. Excellent. And then apply the 99 crankshafts. Reapply our sturdy bones. Looks like we're at level 26. Okay, so I just want to point one thing out here. The bladed lance is kind of a mixed bag here. The reason why it's good is because it's basically the most amount of strength that you can get on Fang's weapon right now. The bad thing is it's actually a balanced weapon, which I know maybe seems kind of funny to criticize a weapon for being balanced, but just because of the way the target times work in this game, it's usually actually better to have weapons that are kind of specialized in one thing versus the other, and not have an even distribution of stats. So, it is what it is, and we kind of just have to deal with what we've got right now. But, again, I tend to actually prefer weapons that kind of specialize in one stat versus the other. And Fang is a phenomenal. Wow, it's one of those days. Phenomenal commando. And so again, that's why I actually prefer, strength-based weapons on her. And I say that, but I suspect later on I'm going to use her Pandoran Spear a lot, which is not a strength-based weapon. So, yeah, it is what it is. But anyways, all right, so back to it. Obviously, we're just repeating the same process here with the glaive of applying those sturdy bones to get that experience bonus, and then applying the crankshafts afterward. And again, so the other thing is, at this point in the game, we just don't have a whole lot of options as far as gear. Probably every character's got around maybe 3 weapons that that they can pick from. And not a whole lot of them have, I'll be honest, not a whole lot of them have real great, bonuses. Again, Axis Blade, though, kind of does. I guess, actually, Marlborough Wand's got I think it's technically the Belladonna Wand that upgrades to the Marlborough Wand. That is Vanille's weapon. That's got a fantastic ability on it as well. But, yeah, other than that, actually, so my goal here actually was to get a lot of raw stats. And again, it's just because I wanted to farm this area. And I knew that there's a specific fight that I do. And I'll do a video for that right after this one. That will kind of display that fight and why I think it's good, and kind of why I build the way I do specifically. Because I'll be honest, this specific gear set that I'm going to have here, it's not actually going to be all that great for a lot of the other fights in the game, just because, again, the stats are going to be so high that it actually gets to a point where, because I have such good raw stats, that it actually makes my battle rating kind of suffer. And again, that's just kind of how the game works on, how they factor in their battle ratings. But, alright, anyways, we're getting close here with our glaive here to finishing off. It's kind of crazy how long this process actually is. And again, though, the whole reason for that is really because at this point in the game, number one, to be fair, this is probably the best early game spot to actually level items, because it's actually easy to farm money right here, or credits, whereas really anywhere up to this point is really difficult to farm. So again, even though this looks extremely, well, I should say it is an extremely time-consuming process, it could be worse. So, anyways, all right, what are we at here? 58? Or is that 56? No, I think it's a 56. All right, and there we just capped that off with, I missed how many. I'll have to check again. Oh no, that's what I did. I messed that up. So here I actually just reloaded my game. But here again, we're at, it looks like level 56 with the glaive. And I need to add, this looks like 77 crankshafts. We'll see if I bump that up at all. Nope. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay, so I would have wasted 22 crankshafts had I not reloaded my game right there. And it looks like we've got, what, about 300 to go? Yeah, there we go. So again, I just used some random items to get me, again, I think that was 300 more experience. I may have missed that. But anyways, all right, so that's our glaive completely maxed out. It looked like, what did it stop at? 300 strength? Yeah, 300 strength. 137 magic. Okay, so that's more strength-based than I thought. I thought that was an even distribution of stats. So that item technically actually is a little bit better than initially remembered it being. It's kind of interesting. Kind of interesting that I was so wrong. Anyways, all right, on to Hope. This is Hope. I'm gonna upgrade his Hawkeye. This is his pure magic based weapon. It's not my favorite weapon of his, but I think it's the best one for this point in the game. So what we did there was added our sturdy bones and then added 32 crankshafts. And that's going to cap out our Hawkeye. Now we'll buy our item that we will use to upgrade. Yeah, that's funny that I was so wrong on that bladed lance. For whatever reason, I thought that was a even balance between strength and magic, but it's just not. So that actually is a better weapon than I remembered it being. But anyways, all right. So we're gonna buy, or I should say, restock on our sturdy bones and crankshafts here. And go back to upgrading. Unfortunately, this Hawkeye is going to be, similar. Actually, I mean, to be completely honest, most of these weapons that I upgrade at this point are going to kind of look like this, where we just have to do this repetitive process here of adding the organic materials, for the EXP bonus, and then, boom, hit it with 99 crankshafts, and then again, kind of just rinse and repeat until we get to the very end, and then and then kind of finish off that last step with, just usually it's a little bit of, or a couple of items here or there that I've picked up, along the course of the game. But anyway, so the Hawkeye, the reason why I think that's decent right now is, number one, I mean, it's got an insane amount of magic. And Hope literally isn't able to do anything but use magic at this point in the game. So, again, it doesn't really actually make sense to have him, with anything else, to be completely honest. Just trying to think of what other items he's got. I know he's got that, that item that's got the defense maintenance. Now, I'll be honest, that one's kind of cool, too. I actually like that ability because it extends the duration of his buffs, but the problem right now is that it's got pretty weak stats, and then on top of that, we can't actually upgrade it until its next form, which, yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to do that for quite a long time. And then again, on top of that, as far as what we're doing at this point in the game, again, I'm just basically farming the crew quarters. He doesn't do any buffing. So again, that weapon's just not going to do him any good at this point. So again, I just went raw stats and as much as I could possibly get. The great thing about the Hawkeye, though, is that it maxes out at, it looks like it's just over 500 magic when it upgrades to the Eagle Talon. So again, like, at this point in the game, you're just not going to be able to get that much for bonus stats with anything else. So, again, for my specific purpose of farming the crew quarters here, I do think that the Hawkeye is Hope's best weapon. What is his other one here? I think it's the Air Wing. The Air Wing, I think, is almost completely garbage. The reason for that is that one almost is it's a fairly balanced weapon, between strength and magic. And again, for the reasons that I stated earlier, I don't like the balanced weapons. Again, it always kind of seems strange when hearing myself say that, but just because of the way that the target times are calculated in this game, it's better to specialize in kind of one thing, usually. Again, for boss fights, it doesn't really matter that much, because typically, with those boss fights, they give you a specific, like a set reward regardless of how good or bad you did. So, Again, that's a pretty blanket statement, and I think it's true in most cases, at least. But again, that's why I kind of shy away from some of those other items at this point in the game and stick to these ones specifically. Again, Hawkeye, Eagle Talon for Hope. I've got actually one that I'm going to upgrade for Saz here in a bit as well. But are we done here yet? Nope. Okay, so this is... Basically, we need to put the finishing touches on the Eagle Talon here. We're at level 57. Again, we've already applied the Sturdy Bones for that EXP bonus. And it looks like I'm adding 66 crankshafts. Nope, maybe 67. Nope, 66. Okay. So 66, we hit level 60, and it looks like we're about 300 short. So again, very similar to the other, or some of the other items that we've already upgraded. Oh, what am I? Yeah, I'm about 100 short. So we'll just finish this off with some other random items that I've picked up, throughout the game to try to save some crankshafts. Okay, so that is our fully completed Eagle Talon. What is that? 500 and... Is that a 6 or an 8? I can't tell. 6 and 8. They look kind of... Got some really bad quality on my... Geez, Movie Maker software here. But anyways, yeah, that's what's kind of hard to see sometimes. But anyways, yeah, so that thing's got, again, just a ton of magic. Now, here I'm actually upgrading the Axis Blade. This is one of... The only thing that I kind of dislike about this one, again, is it's balanced, strength and magic. It's actually the exact, it looks like it's the exact same stats there. But the reason why it's so good, yeah, it is the exact same, is it does have that ATB charge every time you attack. And I'll be honest, I think that synergizes really well with Lightning as a Ravager. Just because the Ravager, boosts up the chain gauge, and the more attack she gets, the more she's going to be able to do that. And it's actually almost a good thing that the stats don't get real high on that for that exact reason. Ravagers really aren't your damage dealers; your commandos are. So, again, I just think that that's a great weapon. It works really well with that Whistlewind Scarf that we had upgraded earlier to the Aurora Scarf. Again, for that that 10% increase in ATB charge rate. The next thing I'm upgrading here, it looks like, is the Power Circle. Now, I'll be honest, that Power Circle isn't... it's not that great at this point in the game, to be completely honest, because... I think it's the Wild Bear. And again, these are Snow's weapons. The Wild Bear actually can technically kind of outperform it for a little while. And the reason for that is we just don't have an item to upgrade the Power Circle into its next upgrade. So anyways, we're already at level 21 here with it. Again, just using the... Sturdy Bones to get the bonus experience up here, and obviously we've used at least one, I'm guessing at least one stack of crankshafts that to be fair, I wasn't actually paying attention, so my bad on that. But anyways, alright, so like I said, we're at level 21. We're going to try to finish this off, and it looks like we're going to go with, what is this, 38? I think that was 38. Crankshafts there. Alright, so again, Power Circle's done now because unfortunately we can't do anything else with it because let me check on which item it needed there. Power Circle, Scarletite. Those aren't going to be available for quite a long time. So again, I actually think that the Wild Bear is better at this point. Unfortunately though, again, it's got the big detractor is the simple reason that it's a balanced weapon again. So again, I've already been over that a couple of times, why I don't think that that's that great. But anyways, 36 sturdy bones, and then we'll use, it's looking like 23 or 24. Let's see what we land on here, 23. All right, 23 crankshafts. So what are we left with? That looks like that's all. I can't tell if that's 1668 or if it's 18. So, yeah, I don't know. Okay. Yeah, anyways, it didn't take much longer to cap that thing off. So, all right, now we need to buy the upgrade items. Go to the mother load. And, all right, looks like we need a perovskite to upgrade that. And we'll buy us some more crankshafts. Okay. Wild bear, let's see here. It looks like we can get to almost 400 attack and magic, which isn't too bad. But again, it's balanced. You know, again, it's one of those balanced items, so I don't really prefer it. But again, we kind of just got to work with what we've got at this point. So, all right, so hitting the 36 sturdy bones and then a stack of crankshafts brings us to level 25. Again, so I'll just talk. I mean, I don't think that we're going to get a whole lot of out of me, you know, mentioning how many sturdy bones and how many blah blah blahs, whatever's that we throw on these things for the next couple minutes. But I'll just talk about Snow's weapons that he's got available to him right now. So again, it's just it's the wild bear. I think he's got. Does he have the no? I don't think he's got the rebel heart. He's got the paladin, which has an interesting, or I would say a more useful synthesized ability with high HP. So that's one of the items where if he's really high on health, he gets like bonus or a bonus to his damage, which I actually think isn't too bad, especially at this point in the game. The other thing about the paladin is it's got that improved guard to it. Now, I'll be honest, I'm not going to be using that, or I'm not going to be using him in his sentinel role really with any frequency. So that's actually not a real big win, to be completely honest. But again, I think that high HP synthesized ability is pretty decent at this point in the game. The good thing with that is so what you can do actually is throw like the paladin on him and then use I think it's the lowest level HP item. I think it's like the iron bangle. That's got high HP on it. I'm just gonna check here if we've got access to any other accessories at the moment that's got that. I don't think so, actually, because it looks like the next one that's got that is the mithril bangle, and I don't know that we can get that yet. Maybe, let me just check here. Maybe if we can get ourselves a gold bangle and upgrade it, which actually, yes, we can. Okay, so the very end of Chapter 9, you can get a gold bangle. So if you upgrade that, maybe I should have tossed that in here somewhere, but I'll be honest, I'm actually I didn't decide to do that, so I kind of just thought about that right now. But again, that is actually an option, though, if you want to use that paladin instead and go for that high HP. I'll be honest, I don't know that well, I mean, I definitely didn't actually do that, and for the short amount of time that I think that would be useful, I don't think that I would, bother or really recommend going that route. I guess it's kind of neat, that you can do that. Because again, we'll get that, or we've got the gold bangle at the end of Chapter 9, and we could technically upgrade that to the mithril bangle because we've got access to the Urananites. So again, we actually could have done that, but yeah, again, I don't want to go out of my way to actually do that, just because I know that I won't, or I wouldn't use that combo for very long at all. So anyways, all right, where are we at here? Did we finish off? Nope. Okay, so we're still working on the Feral Pride. Actually, it looks like I'm guessing this is going to be the finishing touches, being that it's already at level 50. It looks like 58. So we've already got our EXP bonus. And what is this? It looks like 88. Is that right? That seems kind of crazy. Oh yeah. So being that we're at the end here, I'm likely looking up how much experience this is going to take to finish off. So, oh, looks like 80, 77. 77 to finish this thing off, maybe? Yep. Okay, 77. Oh, and we're just a little bit short. Looks like about 250-ish? No. 300. I think that's 300. Nope, maybe only 200. Cuz maths. Okay. Anyways, alright, Feral Pride's done. 383 strength, 383 magic. So not too bad. Again, I'm not wild about the fact that it's a balanced item, but again, it is what it is, and that's kind of the most amount of strength that we can get out of one of Snow's weapons that I think is worth it anyway at this point. Alright, so the next item that we're going to upgrade here is the Belladonna Wand. Now, I'll be completely honest. This is Vanille's only weapon that I ever use. I just think that it's perfect for her. The improved debuffing is amazing, and that will come in extremely handy later on. It looks like I just used the 36 bone or sturdy bones, and then what was that 40? Was that 42 or 46, something like that? Crankshafts. Again, if you really want to know how many that took, hit that pause button once I do that. But anyways, all right. So what do we need here to upgrade that? Wow, it's gonna take a Uraninite. So this is a more expensive one to actually upgrade, which again is fine. We're gonna get a ton. Yeah, it looked like that was 42 crankshafts that I used. So the great thing about this too is that it starts out with improved debuffing, which helps out her Saboteur roll. And then once we upgrade it here, it gets improved debuffing 2, which actually increases your chances of debuffing even further. Again, I think that because of the way the stats are, I guess I shouldn't even just say that. It's not only is it good because of the improved debuffing, but it's good because of the stat distribution. If you'll notice here, we're getting a lot, basically 2 to 1. 2 to 1 magic per strength, which again, you specialize more. Vanille is a really good Ravager, Medic, and Saboteur. I think the rest of her rolls are kind of junky. She's a really crap Commando. So again, I think that this specific weapon, for what she does, really, again, suits her. I think it's the best. I'm not going to even bother upgrading any of her other weapons. I just don't think that they're worth using really at all, because this thing just blows the rest of them out of the water. I think that's the only actual character and the only specific weapon I can even really say that about. You can make some cases for some of her other items, but again, for what I like to do with her, I don't think that there's another weapon that really is going to fit the bill at all. So again, that's my 2 cents on the Marlboro versus Belladonna Wand. So we're going to max that thing out and probably just call it a day. What are we at? Level 37? I think that this is one of the more expensive ones to upgrade, because this is, well, I don't really know why they made some of these weapons kind of the way they did, and made, I guess, just simply made some of them more expensive, and yeah, I guess just more expensive to level, but maybe the developers were like, yeah, this thing's amazing, we're going to make you pay through your teeth. But, alright, oh, actually, no, this one's going to be kind of cheap, I think. Oh, I spoke way too soon there. I think we're almost done. I think this is the last 200 experience that we need to add. Yep, there it is. Alright, so that thing's maxed out. So what was that? 167 strength, 335 magic? That sounds about right. So again, that's done. As far as I'm concerned, Vanille's weapons are done for the entire rest of the game. So we'll move on to Saz. Now, for this specific area, again, I think that the Deneb Duelers are the way to go. The reason being they have an absurd amount of magic. This really reminds me of Hope's Hawkeye at this point. Just because of the sheer amount of EXP that you, or the sheer amount of magic stats that you get out of it. So I added 32 crankshafts after the 36 sturdy bones. And that brings us to the max level, so we will upgrade that using the... What is it going to be here? Perovskite. Perovskite. Alright. Restock on our materials here. Alright, so let's talk about Saz weapons while I'm upgrading here. Again, if you need to take a look at the items that I'm using to upgrade, I'll try to catch the end of it just so I can explain, you know, what I did or how many I needed to get there at the very, very end. But again, you know, if you're watching this, it's pretty easy to make that determination as well. But let me just check his weapons and what we've got available right now. I'll be honest, Saz actually has some interesting weapons. So as of right now, though, he's got the Vega 42s. I don't like those for the reason that you may already know. It's a balanced weapon. It doesn't really have any, you know, special properties to it at all, which again I think is actually a major downer for those. Just being a balanced weapon isn't enough, in my opinion, to make it worthwhile. The stat growth is actually pretty decent. You can get, it looks like around 400 attack and magic. What is this here? Yeah. So yeah, that's my opinion on the Vega 42. So I'm not going to bother upgrading those at all. Now, the other items that he's got right now are the Spica Defenders. Those we cannot upgrade. I will say, though, the good thing about those is it's got the augment maintenance, so that's going to actually just increase the duration of your buffs, or Saz's buffs, I should say. Which actually I think is kind of decent, more for long battles. I don't think that those are really that great for, you know, anything that you're going to be zipping through. Because again, like, it's not going to really help you out if you're in a short duration battle. So probably pretty self-explanatory, but that's my stance on those. The other problem with those right now is you actually can't upgrade those yet because we don't have the access to the item that we can actually upgrade those with. The Deneb Duelers, again, completely amazing. I should say completely amazing stats. The amount of magic that you get with these things when they're upgraded to the Canopus AMPs, which, by the way, for any of you Ogre Battle fans, that's the nod to that game. Deneb was one of the characters as well as Canopus from Ogre Battle. But anyways, it looks like we're going to get just a bit over 600 magic with these fully upgraded Canopus AMPs. So again, that's my choice for the time being. The other option would be the Procyon for the stagger maintenance. Now, those are kind of interesting because just specifically because of the stagger maintenance. Unfortunately, it is a weapon that relies more on its strength stat than its magic stat, which I don't think is good for Saz. Saz's commando is garbage, and I don't actually. I mean, it wouldn't be that bad if, because he's got some. I think he's got some strike skills for his Ravager, but again, if I'm in the Ravager role, I think that the magic is just usually better. And then on top of that, the stats are not that good on it. And then, lastly, the item that we need to upgrade it is not available yet. So again, I would say, I'm going to pass on the Procyon or Procyon, whatever, however you want to say that. And stick to, again, the Deneb Duelers / Canopus AMPs for the time being. That'll change later. I think he's got access to some other, cooler weapons later on. And maybe I'll, go over that or make a different video later on that kind of talks about that. Boy, I think this is the last. Nope, we've got one more item to upgrade after this. A very, probably it's going to be a strange one for me to upgrade, but we're going to do it anyway. But anyways, alright, so we're getting close to the end here. Actually, this looks like it is the end. So what is this? It's either 66 or 68. 66. 66 crankshafts there. And then we're going to finish this off because it looks like we've got about 300 experience to go. Superconductor, that's kind of an overshot. That'll be fine. Alright, there you have it. 630, is that a 6 or an 8? That's a lot of magic. 374 strength isn't too bad either. Again, I'm not wild about, well, I shouldn't even say that. It is what it is. Sometimes he'll use those strike skills and that strength will come in handy. But anyways, the last item I am going to upgrade here is going to be the Pandoran Spear. Reason being, I like that improved debilitation. There are times where Fang will be doing some debuffing, and that is why I like this specific weapon. Now, to be completely honest though, it relies more on its magic stat, which I don't really like that much because I almost exclusively use Fang in her commando role. So again, I don't. The whole flip-flopping of the magic and strength stat I don't really like, but, to be fair, when you're using the Saboteur role, you want your magic stat to be high, so there's that. So again, that might be more of a specialized weapon that I'll use from time to time, but, I do think that her Bladed Lance and the upgrades from that are really my top choice for the time being, so. Anyways, alright, yeah, so this is the... Boy, hopefully I said that name right earlier. It's the Pandoran Spear. But again, that's the improved debilitation. Now, we're not going to be able to upgrade this fully either right now, just because, again, we don't have the actual item to upgrade. So it'll be stuck there at a maxed out Pandoran Spear. But anyways, that's all that I got. Hopefully this guide was helpful. Thanks for watching.